Welcome to Chapter 12 on weathering. This will be the lecture notes for Section 1 of Chapter 12. And disregard the Chapter 5 reference. This is from a different book, but it's the same topic. Chapter 12 starts out with mechanical weathering. And mechanical weathering occurs when physical forces break rock into smaller and smaller pieces without changing the rock's mineral composition. In nature, three physical processes are especially important because of weathering, or important causes of weathering. Frost wedging, which is the same thing as ice wedging or rock wedging, unloading, and biological activity. And we'll take a look at all three of those later on. This graphic illustrates the increase in surface area by mechanical weathering. One of the factors that affects mechanical weathering is, of course, surface area. If you break material such as rock down into smaller pieces, you're exposing more surface area, and thus you'll get more weathering. Frost wedging is a mechanical breakup of rock caused by the expansion of freezing water in cracks and crevices. And once again, frost wedging is the same thing as we saw in the Section 1 read as ice wedging or rock wedging. Sections of rock that are wedged loose may tumble into large piles called talus, which typically form at the base of steep, rocky cliffs. Frost wedging. This is an example of frost wedging. The water was able to penetrate this rock. Water got in here, and water will expand up to 10%, and it was able to crack apart those rocks. Unloading. Reduced pressure on igneous rock causes it to expand and allows slabs of outer rock to break off in layers in a process called exfoliation. Classic example of exfoliation is Half Dome in Yosemite Valley, where that mountain, and as the name suggests, there's only half of it there. That rock has been eroding, and it breaks off in kind of like circular, in case of Half Dome, circular slabs or layers. Another process of mechanical weathering is biological activity. The activity of organisms, including plants, burrowing animals, and humans, can also cause mechanical weathering. This is an example of a dome mountain, of course, and you get uplift of the igneous rock, and it pushes up in various places, this dome mountain, and as the material covering the rock erodes away, you get expansion, and then, of course, exfoliation, characterized by these half circular layers or sheets that actually break off the surface. Weathering and biological activity, classic example of these roots looking for that soil, and as they've expanded away from the tree, they break up the rock surrounding the tree, looking for that moisture and soil. Chemical weathering. Chemical weathering is a transformation of rock into one or more new compounds. Chemical weathering of granite. Weathering of potassium feldspar produces clay minerals, soluble salts such as potassium bicarbonate, and silica in solution. Quartz remains substantially unaltered. And as you remember back from our mineral exploration, quartz, very, very hard, very chemical resistant, so of course it's not going to be altered, and it remains the longest. Weathering of silicate minerals produces insoluble iron oxides and clay minerals. Spheroidal weathering causes the corners and edges of rock to be more rounded, like a spheroid or a sphere. The rates of weathering. Two other factors affecting the rate of weathering are rock characteristics and climate. Rock characteristics, we're talking about the mineral composition and the solubility. the physical features such as the joints in the rocks too. Climate, temperature, and moisture are the most crucial factors. Chemical weathering is most effective in areas with high temperatures and abundant moisture. Where you're going to get the moist, rich climates, you're going to get a lot of chemical weathering. This is an example of spheroidal weathering, and you can see this rock right here, for example, has been weathered into the shape of a spheroid. And somebody didn't place that rock there. The rest of the rock surrounding it eroded away. Differential weathering caused by variations in composition. If you have a rock that contains, say, quartz minerals and some clay minerals or some feldspar, the quartz is going to remain the longest and the other material is going to erode away. It can create unusual and spectacular rock formations and landforms. And that concludes the lecture notes for section 1 of chapter 12. And when you're done listening to these lecture notes, I want you to go back into your My Big Campus account and complete the section 1 review questions that will be an attachment there.